Hi, my name is HHeitz, and I'm going to tell you how giving, self-care, and assertiveness are the secret formula to attaining success. So, in our society, we consider success to be getting the most money, fighting your way to the top, beating out others, and getting the promotion and things like this. But how do people like Bill Gates, who constantly donate to charity and exhibit kindness in their daily life, achieve the same amount of success? So we have this conception of karma, good begets good, the Good Samaritan in society, and it's historically grounded. But how has the research supported this, and what is the research saying? So positive psychology has been an area of interest where this has been explored further, and a lot of research has come together to describe how assertiveness, giving, and self-care create the ideal formula for success. In our fast-paced society, we're completely connected at all times to our work, to others around us, but it is hard to maintain these boundaries and prioritize our needs and value self-care and create these boundaries. And it takes a certain level of assertiveness that oftentimes we don't learn. And it is seen that productivity is the essential goal, when in reality the most productive people are those who maintain a certain amount of balance between work and personal life. So historically, those who give receive, as shown through the Good Samaritan, and he's been idealized in Christian tradition as being Christ-like and selfless, and creating this ideal that it is hard to imagine being able to achieve. And Tibetan Buddhism has a similar value of giving and compassion, and one of their specific rituals is called Tonglen, and it is directly translated as giving and receiving. It is a ritual in which you first develop compassion for yourself, and through that compassion for yourself, you generate a compassion for others and take on the suffering of others, which is altruistic in nature, yet at the same time is a practice of self-care in essence, from the original self-compassion necessary to be compassionate towards others. And so this brings us to self-care, which is a really popular buzzword now in the positive psychology field and beyond. And it's a very hard thing to achieve as we struggle to maintain the boundaries between work, personal life, and everything else going on in the world around us. So Greenhouse and colleagues conducted a study in which they looked at the balance between work and family time, and they took about 353 participants working in the financial sector who had at least a spouse and one child, and they looked at their ability to manage their time and their quality of life overall. So as you can see here, those who had the greatest total time working had the least quality of life, and those who spent more time with their family obviously had higher quality of life, yet their success suffered, or their productivity suffered in the workforce. So there's a particular balance that people want to strike right in the middle, and it's hard to achieve that, especially in today's world. Rose and colleagues in Australia actually conducted a study on nurses in which they evaluated self-care, assertiveness, and balance, and they found that all of these things are positively correlated with life satisfaction overall. Sprang took a different approach and looked at compassion fatigue, compassion satisfaction, and burnout among healthcare or mental health care professionals. And they took the professional quality of life scale, which you can find at compassionfatigue.org if you're interested in taking it. And it helps determine what your boundaries are and what kind of quality of life is and how much time you spend working and how much it affects you beyond the work setting. So he found that those who had significantly lower levels of social support and increased workload were likely to experience compassion fatigue versus those who had certain specialized training, such as trauma training for these mental health care providers, and they were buffered against this compassion fatigue and had higher levels of emotional satisfaction. Yep. So Adam Grant, he wrote Give and Take in 2013, and it completely changed the approaches to success and utilized a lot of positive psychology research to prove that altruism is the best path to success, and that smart giving is what makes success possible. So he called these people otherish, and these are the successful givers who have high concern for others' interests as well as high concern for the interest of themselves. And those who are selfless, sacrificing givers are known as pathological, or practice pathological altruism, is coined by Barbara Oakley in her research. And the selfish takers tend to do all right, and those who are selfless, self-sacrificing givers tend to fare the worst in the world. And these are the people who seem to be the most compassionate, seem to give back the most. They don't necessarily give in the smartest of ways. For example, college students were studied, and those who are selfless givers would give and give to the point where their own grades would suffer as a result of putting others' priorities over their own. So givers or smart givers rather, are better able to regulate their emotions and have increased willpower, which helps them achieve greater success. So Klein and Floyd's 1999 study looked at refusal skills, and which is basically saying no and how you communicate that with another person. And they're highly correlated or positively correlated with interpersonal skills such as comforting and informing. And these kind of skills can be developed over time, and a lot of young children and young adults struggle with these skills, but once mastered, they can improve quality of life. And this was shown even further in 1994 by a study by Lee and colleagues in Taiwan, and they had 60 nurses participate, and 30 of them received assertiveness training and 30 of them didn't. So the 30 who went through this assertiveness training were better able to manage their stress and experience a greater quality of life. And 4 weeks later, they still maintain that ability. So assertiveness can be learned. It is not something inherent in personality. It doesn't mean someone is bossy, but it's a skill. And it's a certain skill set involved in communication. So we tend to see success as this individual, money-making ideal of getting our way to the top. But really, it's a balance. It's a balance of smart giving, self-care, and assertiveness. And achieving this is not always easy, and it's hard to think about finding the sweet spot of all of these things. So success is not how we typically describe it in our society as being all about money and getting the best promotion, the best position at your company. But really, it's about maintaining this balance between personal life and work and being the most productive in all realms of your life. So positive psychology has long emphasized the positive aspects and maintaining this balance. So this is not really the idea of success anymore, as we move towards a more holistic approach that incorporates self-care, giving, and assertiveness. Those who are smart givers can work together and achieve the most success. And it's not a zero-sum game. Everyone working together can make this possible. So here are 5 steps that you can take to apply this to your life. So first, learn what self-care looks like to you and learn what it means to you, because it's different for everyone. And then in order to achieve the self-care, you have to have the right amount of assertiveness. So if you don't know how, learn. Practice saying no. Practice refusing if someone needs your help, but you really can't. Don't overextend yourself. And be kind. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Step 4, find your tribe, network, and find your social support that will bolster you against the stressors of everyday life. And this network will also provide you with vast opportunities for growth. And give and you shall receive. Thank you.